Good morning, students. Here is your economics teacher, Lakshmi Vyas, and today I'm going to start a new chapter which is Measures of Central Value or Central Tendency. This is the very first part of the chapter. We'll complete this chapter in different parts. It is the third chapter of statistical part in the syllabus. So let's start this chapter with the area of discussion. Yes. In order to discuss this chapter, first of all, we'll know about average, what it is, what are the different types of averages, among which we'll discuss the very first type of average, which is mean, arithmetic mean. Among mean also, we'll discuss arithmetic mean today. Under that, we'll discuss the concept of that. Then what are the different methods which we can use to calculate arithmetic mean, and numerical examples. With the help of different numerical examples, we'll learn each and every method with one example. Lastly, we'll complete this part with merits and demerits of arithmetic mean. So here we start. Average. Yes. Average is a term which is very, very important for statistics. Some statisticians said statistics may rightly be called the science of averages. Yes, we have already discussed about in the introductory chapter of statistics that it deals with average. And now, what an average is? Average is a single value that is representative of all the items in a series. Like a class representative we have in our classes. So, an average means if we have a set of data, means a series, be it an individual series or a discrete series or a continuous series, which we have discussed in our previous chapter, any series, there is one variable value which represents the entire one. That value is called average. Average number can be present over there or it can not be present over there. Maybe it is there, maybe it's not, but it will be within the range of that. And since an average is somewhere within the range of the data, it is also called measure of central value or measure of central tendency. So let's discuss this average with different types. What are the different types of average? Averages can be of two types, mathematical average and positional average. Mathematical average means the averages which are calculated by taking into account the values of item, like arithmetic mean, geometric mean, harmonic mean. All these are value types of average. Means we will calculate the mean value. Okay, means the average which we commonly use, add them up and divide by the number of units. That is normal average, which is mathematical average. Apart from that, there are positional averages as well. Position wise means when we arrange the data, the middle one, whether the middle one is close, small value or large value, that doesn't matter. First of all, we have to arrange the data, and when we arrange them, then the position wise, the value which is coming in the middle position is called positional average. Under that, we'll discuss three types: median, quartile and mode. In this ISC scope, we will discuss only arithmetic mean, median and mode. Geometric mean, harmonic mean and quartiles are not in the syllabus, so we will not discuss in this tutorial. So we will start today our arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean. What is arithmetic mean? The term arithmetic mean is simple statistical term used for mean, which we have done till now in junior classes. Yes, arithmetic mean is the amount secured by dividing the total sum of the value in the item series divided by the numbers. For example, if x1, x2, x3 dot xn are n observations, then arithmetic mean is x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus xn divided by small n, where small n is the number of items. Here a simple summation is given. Summation means total. Addition, it is a Greek alphabet sigma which represents total. It will be x1 plus x2 plus x3 dot 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 xn divided by small n, where n is the number of items in the series. Keeping the simple formula of arithmetic mean in mind, our main objective is to understand how to calculate arithmetic mean in different types of series. For that, let me give you a gist of all the methods which can be used according to series. Here you can see the very first individual series. Individual series means when the value of only variable is given, like x is 1, 2, 5, 7, 9, or suppose height of the students is given, you calculate the average height. That is called individual series, means when there is no frequency given. So there can be two methods, direct method and shortcut method. Direct method, summation x by n. Shortcut method, x equal to a plus summation d by n, where a is the assumed mean, d is the deviation, n is the number of total frequency. Similarly, we have two methods when we have discrete series, which is called frequency array, when x and f, two things are given. Then the formula will be exactly same as the individual series, but a simple multiplication of frequency will be there. Like summation f will become summation fx, summation d will become summation fd, and in place of small capital N we will write summation f. Means in individual series we write the number of observation, in discrete series we write the total of frequency, because total of frequency gives the total number of observation. Now the third one, which is continuous series. What is continuous series? A series in which the data is given in continuous form, like 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. This kind of a series is called continuous series. In that series, which is also called frequency distribution series, we can use three methods. Simple, the first one, which is direct method, which we have used in direct method, in discrete series and individual series. The same method, shortcut method, which we have used in discrete and individual series. And here a new method which can be used is step deviation method. The formula is given here. In detail we will discuss with example. So there are three methods for continuous series. The fourth one, average, we can calculate the weighted arithmetic average, where the weights are given. So basically these weights are like discrete series, where weights can be considered as frequency, but in some particular numericals it is given like weights. So we can calculate simple and we can calculate the weight. Weighted is again product of w will be there, weights will be multiplied with the variable's value, and again the denominator will be summation w. I'll discuss this with the help of example. So let's start our numerical example. With examples we can understand each and every type of method under each and every type of series. So here we go. First one, individual series, and we will calculate using direct method. Now here an example is given, the very first example, where you can see that daily wages of 10 workers in a factory is given. Worker number 1 to 10, their corresponding wages is given, and we need to calculate the arithmetic mean. First step, we will calculate the summation x, means the total of x. We will add them up, 60, 70, 80, 90, we will add them up. Step 2, we will write the number of observation, which is given 10. And the third step, summation x upon summation f, which is n here, is mean. So average is equal to 1060 by 10, which is rupees 106. Some points are important to write. Mark over here. When you do a sum like this, you don't need to write step 1, step 2, step 3. It's given for example. Secondly, the unit is very important to write. Here you can see that till the calculation no unit was given, but at the end when you get the answer 106, the unit rupees is given, because rupees is the unit of wage given in the sum. So be very careful whether any unit is given in the sum or not regarding the variable. If that is given, you have to write that unit in the answer as well. So average mean or average wage rate in this sum is rupees 106. See, as I already told you, statistics is not simple maths. You can do calculation, but it will represent something. So here x, which is the variable, is representing the wage. So answer will be rupees 106. If you write only 106, your marks will get deducted. Moving to the second method under individual series, which is called shortcut method. Yeah, it's not showing shortcut, but it is shortcut when the sums is huge. See the question given. The same question. Wages were given, 10 workers were given. Now solve the same sum with shortcut method. What we will do? The very first thing, we'll make a table. Given a table here, calculation table, where serial numbers are written from the sum. Workers, which is wages of the worker, X is written from the sum. Now, out of these, we have to assume any one of the value from X. Suppose from 60 to 160, I am assuming 110 as the assumed mean. So 110, since it is among the middle value, we always consider. If you take any other value also, the sum answer will be same. So don't worry that which one will be the assumed mean. We can take any value. So here we have taken 110 as assumed mean A. The next column of the table is deviation from the assumed mean. What is that? D. D is X minus A. See, for the first value 60, the value of D is 60 minus 110, which is minus 50. Second is 70 minus 100. So basically what we are doing, from each value of X, we are subtracting the one which is assumed mean. So X minus A. When we'll do this, we'll get the answers, some negative answers, the value which are lesser, 0, and some positive answer. What we need to do is the total of that. In order to do the total, we'll add the positive numbers and negative numbers separately and then subtract them up to get the final answer. So what we got here is summation D is minus 40. Now the formula. The step 5 is important. We can calculate the step. We can skip the step 4 as well, no problem. We can directly put the values. X bar equal to A plus summation D by N. A is 110. Summation D is minus 40. Capital N is number of workers. Here frequency is not given, so number of workers is the total one, which is 10. Just simplify it, you will get the answer 106. So here, see here also you got the same answer. So individual series you can calculate with step direct method or shortcut method, the answer will be same. So moving to the next, discrete series. In case of discrete series, let's start with the direct method first. Here in sum number example 3, you can see that age of marriage of 50 male is given. At the age of 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, the number of males who got married is given. You need to calculate the average or mean using direct method. Same, we have given the value of X, which is the year. The number of male is frequency F. The only one column we need to calculate, which is F into X, means 20 into 1, 21 into 2, 22 into 4, 23 into 5, 24 into 15 and 25 into 23. Just multiply them up to get the values of Fx and calculate the total of F and total of Fx. Then putting the value X bar equal to summation Fx by summation F, you will get 24 years. So mean age is 24 according to the given data. Next is shortcut method. Again shortcut method. The same sum is given here. The distribution of age at the marriage of 15 male is given. Calculate the mean by shortcut method. Now the same sums with the two columns similar, X and F is given. Here what we need to do is, we will not calculate Fx. What we are calculating is D, just as we have done in our individual series. Shortcut method means deviation is required to be calculated. D is equal to X minus A. Now here we have assumed A as 23. From 20 to 25 we have assumed 23 as our assumed mean. Then subtracting 23 from each value, 23, 20 minus 23, 21 minus 23, 22 minus 23, 23 minus 23, so on, we'll get these value. Minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. Then multiple of deviation with the frequency, means in place of Fx we will calculate Fd. So multiplying F and D will get these value. At the end again the same thing, summation Fd and summation F, and putting the formula. A is equal to summation Fd by summation F. See, the formula is same, just a frequency is multiplied with D. So again we got the answer 24 years. So whether we use a direct method or shortcut method, answer will be same. Moving to the third type of series, which is continuous series. As I told you all, continuous series means data like this: marks and number of students given, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and number of students is given. Now you need to calculate the average marks of student. Average marks of student by the direct method. Direct method means summation x by summation n. So here what we'll do, we don't have our x values. So from the marks, which is the class is given 0 to 10, we need to calculate the mid value, small m. What is the small m? Upper class limit plus lower class limit divided by 2. 0 plus 10 by 2, 10 plus 20 by 2, 20 plus 30 by 2, and so on. So what we got is the middle value of each class: 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55. Now this will be our, just like x. X and f is given. Now we'll multiply them to get fx, f into m. Then the summation of fm, 3300, and summation of f. Putting the value in direct formula, we'll get the answer 33. So 33 is the mark. See, marks has no unit, and that is why here it is also no unit is given. So 33 marks is the average marks of students from 10 to 60 for 100 students. So average is very bad. So you should not perform like this. The performance should be better. So here you can say that from the data also we can see that 20 to 30 is 25, 30 to 40 is 30. So maximum frequency is lying in between 20 to 40. So our answer will also be there. The maximum frequency 30 is between 30 to 40. So our answer will be between 30 to 40, and we have got 33. This is the correct one. Okay, so we can justify our answer with the data as well. Moving to the next, shortcut method. In case of shortcut method, this table will be required. The same sum which we have seen in the last example, marks was from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, so on till 50 to 60, and corresponding number of students, which is the frequency given. Again we will calculate the mid value. Since we don't have the value of the variable, we have to calculate the mid value, m, 5, 15, 25, 35, 45. Using that mid value as x, we will calculate the deviation. Just we do in our assumed mean method. Always in assumed mean, we have to assume a particular value as mean. Here in this sum, we have assumed 35 as mean, and then we have calculated the deviation, small d, which is 5 minus 35, 15 minus 35, 25 means each value of x, m here, minus 35, which will give you the deviation values. And the last column again, fd. fd means 30 into 5, minus 30 into 5, minus 20 into 10, minus 10 into 25, 0, 10 into 20, 20 into 10. So basically you are multiplying the frequency values with the corresponding assumed deviation. Then the last step is to find the summation, summation fd. And here again the same formula we need to use, x bar equal to a plus summation fd by summation f. Since the summation fd is coming negative, we have to subtract it from 35. So again you can see that answer is 33. So whether you use a direct method or shortcut method, answer will be same. Now after this, the third kind of method, which is a different one, is step deviation method. Yes, this method can only be used in case of continuous series. We cannot use this method in individual series or discrete series. Here again the same sum, we have used the same sum to understand different methods so that we can understand which method is easy for us. So in order to understand step deviation method, what we need to do is we need to one more column will be added to the table with this assumed mean method. Here the marks will be from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, up to 50 to 60. Number of students is the frequency given. Mid value we have calculated in the previous ones as well, 5, 15, 25, 35, 45 and 55 for each of the class. Then we need to calculate the deviation, which we have done again. Now the last one is step deviation. Now what is this step deviation? It is a new thing here. Till 4 columns we have done in our previous method. Step deviation means we have to divide our deviation with the class width. What is the class width here? 0 to 10, what is the gap? 10. 10 to 20, what is the gap? 10. 20 to 30, what is the gap? 10. So basically we have a common width of the class, and each of this class is having a width of 10 units. So here we have to divide each value of the deviation with 10. C is the class width here. We have to divide the value which we have got in D to get the D dash, which is D by C. So 30 by 3, 20 by 3, or so on and so forth. So what we are getting is step deviation. Now, as we have done in the previous sum, we calculated FD. Here we will calculate FD dash. FD dash is frequency multiplied by the step deviation. So frequency is 5, step deviation minus 3. So FD dash is minus 15. Frequency 10, step deviation minus 2, multiply, you got minus 20. Similarly, you will multiply each of this frequency value with the corresponding step deviation and you will get the FD dash values. At the end, we need to get the summation. Summation is always positive and negative separately added and then subtracted to get the correct answer. So here you got summation FD dash as minus 20 and summation F is 100. The formula changes. What is the change in the formula? Just like the shortcut method, we have x bar as a plus summation FD dash by summation F multiplied by C. Since we have divided by C to get F dash, D dash, we have to multiply it at the end. Now, in order to avoid confusion, students, what you need to do is 35 minus 20 by 100 into 10. Don't simplify them without considering the BODMAS rule which you have learned since junior classes. Yes, you have to multiply C first and then solving the fraction, and at the end you subtract it with 35. Don't subtract first and then multiply. Try to avoid that mistake. It's a common mistake done by many students and that's why I have informed you here. So to avoid that, first of all multiply C with summation FD by summation F and then subtract the answer from 35, which is A. So here again you will get 33. So you can see the same sum which you do using any of the three methods, you will get the same answer. So whichever method you feel like, you can apply and you can use to get the same answer. After that, the last type of numerical which we are going to discuss in this chapter is weighted arithmetic mean. In this video, simple means we have calculated. Now here is a sum of weighted mean. Find the weighted mean of the marks obtained by students if he scored 70, 55, 60, 80, 55 marks in different subjects and weights added to these subjects are given. So weights are separately given and sometime two different variables will be given and you will be asked to calculate the mean of one variable considering the second variable as weight. So just simply one variable will be considered as x, another will be w, and the only thing you need to calculate is product of the two, w into x. 70 into 1, 55 into 2. See, the weights of economics is 3, so be very careful, it's a high weighted subject. So product of this x and w will give you different values. What you need to do is you need to get the total summation w and summation wx, which will give you the value 11 and 734 respectively. Here the last one, which is the substituting the values in the formula. Substituting the values in the formula, summation wx by summation w, 734 upon 11, 66.72. So weighted marks, mean marks is 66.72 marks. So this is a simple sum. It's just like a frequency array, just like a discrete series. You can calculate frequency, but here frequency will not be fixed. Weights will be given separately and in the question it will be mentioned that this is weight and this is variable. So you can calculate the weighted average of any variable. Weighted average is also very important because different variables are given different weights nowadays and accordingly we need to calculate that. Moving to the last part of this chapter, which is merits and demerits. Merits. Arithmetic mean. What are the advantages which arithmetic mean is having? The very first is certainty. Yes, arithmetic mean is rigidly defined. So its value is always definite and certain. There's no scope of uncertainty in the calculation of mean. The second one is, it is based on all observations of the series. Yes, none of the observation will leave. So we use all the observations, each one is given equal importance, so it's good. The third one, simplicity. Yes, arithmetic mean is the simplest of all the measures of central tendency. So we have started with the simple, we'll move toward the complicated ones. It is simple to understand, it's easy to calculate. So it is, in fact, it's so simple that we can commonly call average or mean or arithmetic mean, it's all the same. We have done these things before in simple calculation. The next one is, it is capable of further algebraic treatment. Yes, some of the algebraic properties of arithmetic means are there, and this is because of these characteristics of this arithmetic mean, it is extensively used in statistical analysis. Further algebraic treatments can be done, we can calculate the combined mean and all. Apart from these four, there are many other merits as well, like it is a relatively stable measure of central tendency, and because it is least affected by the changes in the sample of a series. Secondly, arithmetic mean can be used as a good basis of comparison because it is stable, certain, and it's a typical representative of a series. So arithmetic mean is regarded as a very good measure of central tendency because it satisfies most of the characteristics of an ideal average. The last part of this video is demerits. Yes, everything which has merit has some demerits too. So the very first demerit of arithmetic mean as a measure of central tendency is that it is affected by extreme values. Yes, since arithmetic average is calculated from all the items of the series, it is affected by the extreme values. Extreme values means very small and very large. For example, if a student scores 80 marks in English, 85 marks in economics, 65 in commerce, and he's weak in maths, so he got 10 marks in maths, then his average will be 60. You can do it, calculation 60. Now 60 is not a representative value of the marks because the student did not try, was not that bad. He scored 80 and 85 in two subjects, 65 in the third one. Only 10 marks, which was very low in one subject, has reduced the average marks considerably. So in case of presence of extreme values, whether the value is too large or too small, the mean will not be the true representative of the student. We cannot say that the student is a 60% kind of a student. He scored 80, 85, 65. So how can his average be 60? This is because one subject he scored 10. So average is affected by extreme values very well. The second problem is incomplete data. Yes, if the data is not given full, we cannot calculate arithmetic mean. If out of 500 items, the value of 499 items are known, but only one item is missing, then also we cannot calculate average. We cannot calculate arithmetic mean. So that is a drawback. The third one is the mean value may sometimes be a value which does not exist in the series. For example, suppose arithmetic mean of 4, 8, 15 and 21. These are the four numbers you need to calculate. So that will be 4 plus 8 plus 15 plus 21 divided by 4. So answer you will get is 12. Now, in the series, the number 12 is not there, but the average is coming 12. So how can a number be a representative of a series in which the number itself is not existing? So that is again a drawback. In some cases, here in numbers we can say that, but in statistics numbers represent something or the other. So in some cases it may not be figured in the series. So that is a demerit of that. The fourth one, arithmetic mean sometimes gives such result which look absurd. Yes, there's an example. If the number of children in 5 families are given, like 2 children, 3 children, 4 children, 3 children, 5 children. Now what will be the average? If you calculate the average, 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 5 divided by 5 families, so it is 5, you will get 3.4 children. Now it is indeed very absurd since a child cannot be divided into fraction. So the numbers, if the number is coming in decimals or fraction, and that number is representing something which is which should be discrete, then the result of arithmetic mean will be absurd. So what we do in such cases, we round off them according to the rule of mathematics. So we can round off them and get the final result. So this is the problem, but still we can say that arithmetic mean satisfied most of the condition of an ideal average. Some demerits are there. So it is the most popular used measure of central value. It is the most widely used in practical life to determine the average, like average income, average expenditure, average height, average output, average marks. So it is one of the best method to calculate average. So here we complete our this part of this chapter. We'll continue this chapter in the next tutorial as well, where we'll discuss about median, mode, relations, and some more numericals. Till then, thank you students for being here. Go through the videos, complete your assignments, and prepare yourself very well. Thank you.